Welcome to Project U 2.2, the podcast where life and leadership meet endurance. I'm Greg Helmer, joined by my wife and partner in life and work, Carrie. Each week, we dive deep into the mindset, the neuroscience, and the real grit it takes to stop drifting and start living with clarity, confidence, and endurance. This is about real life, real struggles, and real growth. So lace up, it's time to live with endurance. This week, Carrie sat down with Mikayla Jai, and I want to start by giving credit where it is due. Carrie, you are becoming a truly skilled interviewer. You didn't just run questions, you pulled out the gold. Identity, nervous system regulation, decision-making, self-awareness, and what it actually takes to step into a new chapter. The way you stayed curious, warm, and grounded, that's what makes people open up. And Mikayla, wow. The combination of clarity and your honesty that you brought out to that conversation is rare. The way you talked about identity, victimhood, and self-awareness without sugarcoating it and still staying compassionate, Mikayla, that is leadership. You are truly authentic. That wasn't just an interview. It was a blueprint for anyone standing in transition. And so today, I'm going to build a bit on your conversation through my lens. Leadership, endurance, and the neuroscience of transformation. Because what Mikayla said over and over was this: your life changes when your identity changes. And identity changes when your decisions and actions match. Let's start with the line that applies to almost everyone listening. You are never going to feel ready. This is one of the truest statements in personal growth, and there's psychology behind it. Your brain is a prediction machine. It's designed to keep you safe, not bold. So when you step toward the unknown, a new job, a new relationship, new health habits, new identity, your brain throws up warning signs: doubt, delay, overthinking, wait until after the holidays. I need a better plan. Well, you know what? I'll start when I have a bit more time. That's not laziness. That's your nervous system saying, I don't really know this terrain. Mikayla's point was powerful. Ready is often a lie we tell ourselves to avoid discomfort. In endurance sports, we don't wait until we feel ready to run a long race. We train, we show up, we build capacity, and it's the same in life. Another thing Mikayla said that I loved was the distinction between a decision and a choice. A choice is flexible. A decision is binding. A choice says, I might, but a decision says, I will. And here's the neuroscience angle behind it. When you make a true decision, your brain reduces internal conflict. It stops burning energy, negotiating. And a lot of people are exhausted, not because life is hard, but because they live inside constant negotiation. Should I do this? Should I do that? Well, maybe tomorrow. I don't know. Well, what if? What if? I'll just wait. That's a cognitive tax. A decision creates peace because it collapses options. And that's why Mikayla described being relentless. Not because she's superhuman, but because once she decides, she doesn't leave the door open for retreat. That's an athlete's mindset. That is endurance. Speaking of athlete mindset, Mikayla said her word of the year is athlete. I perked up immediately. That's not a trendy word. It's a framework. A professional athlete holds two things at the same time: rest and recovery, and intensity and hunger. Not either or, both end. Most people swing to the extremes. They say, I need rest, and then they go passive. Or they say, I need discipline, and then they go a little too rigid. Athlete mindset says, I'm going to train hard, but I'm not going to burn out. I'm going to recover like it matters. That's not just fitness, that's leadership. If you're building a business, raising kids, leading a team, transitioning career pathways, you need athlete year energy. One of the most fascinating parts of the interview was when Carrie asked Mikayla about retreat travel chaos, the canceled flights, and Mikayla's response was basically, nothing was happening internally besides problem solving. That is nervous system training. What she described as what we call regulation, downshifting, executive function staying online. Because when you add emotion to chaos, you actually lose clarity. But when you stay regulated, you stay effective and efficient. In my world, educational leadership, I've tried to live this. A crisis hits, phones light up, text messages are coming in rapidly, people begin to panic, rumors fly, the thermometer leader reacts to the room. Thermostat leader sets the room. Mikayla didn't broadcast panic. She solved the problem. And you see, that's a skill. And it matches exactly what Carrie has been teaching too. Triggers don't have to own you. Another turning point moment in your interview was when Mikayla described her victimhood years and said, I got sick of my own crap. That right there is the pivot point for growth. Not shame, not guilt, it's ownership. That's where lives change. She didn't wait for a rescue. She changed her environment by changing her patterns. She made a vow, no gossip, no complaining, no negativity thinking or loops, and no low vibe habits. You see, that's identity work. Because the story you repeat becomes the identity you live. And the identity you live becomes the life that you build. That is straight out of my manuscript from Lead with Endurance. I write about races we didn't sign up for, seasons where the plan collapses and your identity gets tested. The hardest part isn't the logistics, it's the internal story when problems occur. When life hits hard, you have two options. This is happening to me, or this is shaping me. That's not motivational fluff stuff, okay? That's psychological framing. The people who grow through pressure, they're not luckier, they are more practiced at reframing. Mikayla practiced that. Carrie practiced that when she went to Greece and Italy with total strangers and stepped into a new identity. And I've watched Carrie transform because she decided, not because she waited. She made a decision and then she honored it. That's athlete year energy. All right, so here's the challenge for the week. And I want you to actually do it, not just nod along. Pick one decision you've been treating like a choice. Something you keep circling but not committing to. Something with your health. Maybe it's a conversation that you need to have with a friend or a loved one. Maybe it's a career step that you've been thinking about. A boundary, a creative project, a new hobby. Maybe it's therapy, coaching. Maybe it's that trip or vacation you've been thinking about. Maybe a dream that you've been postponing. Learning to play an instrument. Write this sentence. I am deciding to, and list it out. Not I want to, not I hope to, I am deciding to. Then create your two-part athlete plan. one micro action you will do daily. 10 minutes and one recovery habit you will protect weekly. Whether it's rest, walk, meditation, reading, prayer, unplugged time, whatever restores you. And let your fear ride along. Like Mikayla said, fear can sit in the passenger seat, but you drive. I loved that idea, Mikayla. At the end of the week, ask yourself, did I honor my decision or did I negotiate with it? That's how you build identity. That's how you build endurance. That's how you build a life that looks like alignment. This has been Project U 2.2, where we don't quit, we don't coast, and we don't surrender. If today's episode resonated with you, please share it with someone who could use a calmer room and a clearer plan. And every Wednesday at 6:22 a.m., Carrie brings the heartbeat of this work, mindset, growth, and the next brave step. Until next time, stay strong, stay real, and keep living with endurance. See you at 6:22.